All channels override. Priority galactic emergency. Bring her back. Station Commander Kael'thas's primary manipulators froze over the console as every screen in the command center blazed red. The voice repeating across every frequency in the known galaxy wasn't the controlled tone of military command or the measured cadence of diplomatic crisis. It was small. According to YouTube analytics, 99.3% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content. Hitching with sobs, and absolutely shouldn't have been possible. Bring her back. Please, bring her back. Someone tell me how a 3-year-old cub just hijacked communications designed by 5 species' top military engineers. Kael'thas slammed his hand against the emergency shutoff. Nothing. The system didn't even register his command authorization. Senior Tech Officer Lir'ana's head tendrils had gone completely white, the Centauri equivalent of shock. Commander, this isn't just a hijacking. The encryption protocols they're responding to her. All 47 layers just accepted her as primary administrator. That's impossible. Those systems require 6-digit authorization codes that cycle every 30 seconds. Kael'thas pulled up the security logs, his blood running cold. The breach had originated from the communications center, the most secure room on the station. Who authorized a cub into? Sir, the voice pattern matches Zara, Ambassador Vexthul's daughter. Lir'ana's voice had dropped to barely a whisper. She's Valkan. The command center went silent. Valkans were apex predators from a world where everything else had learned to run. Their cubs weren't precious, helpless things that needed protection. They were calculating, dangerous, and took years to form emotional attachments to anyone outside their immediate family unit. They definitely didn't cry. And they absolutely couldn't bypass military-grade security systems that required 12 years of specialized training to operate. Bring her back. She said she'd come back. Bring Emma back. Kael'thas felt his secondary stomach drop. Emma? Emma Johnson? The human janitor? Her shift ended 43 minutes ago. Lir'ana confirmed, pulling up personnel records. She departed on Shuttle 7 Alpha for her scheduled leave rotation. For the love of... How does a human maintenance worker cause a galactic security breach? Kael'thas activated his comm, trying every emergency channel. All of them were blocked by the same sobbing voice, now interspersed with hitching breaths that made something in his chest ache despite his rising panic. She promised she'd come back. Bring her back now. The command center doors burst open as Chief Security Officer R. Hill stormed in, followed by 3 more tech specialists. Commander, we have a situation. Every government, military installation, and civilian communication hub in 17 sectors is receiving the same. I'm aware, R. Hill. Can you override it? R. Hill's expression was the facial equivalent of a negative. Sir, we tried cutting main power to the communications array. The system is running on backup power that shouldn't exist. She somehow rerouted station energy distribution through. He paused, consulting his datapad. Through the cleaning supply storage ventilation system's secondary circuit breakers. She what? Sir, I need to be clear about something. Lir'ana's voice was shaking. This isn't just sophisticated. This is genius-level systems integration that would take our best engineers months to plan. She's doing it while emotionally compromised. While crying. The broadcast changed. Now Emma Johnson's personnel file photo appeared on every screen across the station, and presumably across every screen in the galaxy capable of receiving the signal. the small voice continued, but now with a desperate edge that made Kael'thas's protective instincts war with his professional horror. This is Emma. She cleans the floors. She tells stories. She gives hugs. She said she'd come back tomorrow, but tomorrow isn't now. Bring her back. Get me Ambassador Vexthul, Kael'thas ordered, watching helplessly as the galaxy's most secure communications network became a 3-year-old's personal broadcasting system. And someone figure out how a human janitor became important enough to a Valkon cub that she'd tear down our entire infrastructure to get her back. Sir? Rahil was staring at his datapad, his coloring shifting to pale gray. She just locked down all command functions. We can't access life support controls, navigation, weapon systems, or docking bay doors. Everything except environmental systems. Those are running perfectly. She's holding the station hostage, Liriana whispered. She's 3 years old, Kael'thas said numbly. Bring Emma back. The voice echoed across the galaxy, and somewhere in the background, Kael'thas could hear what sounded like someone pounding small fists against a reinforced door. This was going to require so much paperwork. Ambassador Vexthul arrived at a dead sprint, something Kael'thas had never seen from the usually dignified Valkon diplomat. His predatory features were twisted in an expression somewhere between horror and disbelief. That's Zara, he confirmed unnecessarily, staring at the screens now cycling through what appeared to be Emma Johnson's complete daily routine. My daughter. She's in the communication center? Locked herself in 20 minutes ago. Every override attempt has... Kael'thas paused as new data flooded the screens. Is that Emma's favorite breakfast order from the station cafeteria? Oatmeal with blueberries and honey, Zara's voice announced to the galaxy. She gets it every morning at 6:30. She says the honey makes it taste like sunshine. She shares with me sometimes. Bring her back. Lirana's manipulators were trembling over her console. Commander, she just accessed personnel dietary records, residential patterns, and... oh, stars. She's pulling Emma's complete work history, personal preferences, and... how does she have audio recordings? Emma tells me stories. Zara's broadcast continued. And suddenly Emma's voice filled every speaker. And then the princess realized she didn't need rescuing at all. She could rescue herself. Just like you, Zara. You're so smart and brave. That's from 3 weeks ago, Vexthul said quietly, his usual composure completely shattered. When Emma stayed late too, she said she was teaching Zara Earth games while I finished treaty negotiations. Your daughter has been spending time with a human janitor? Arhil asked, then immediately looked like he regretted the question at Vexthul's expression. Emma volunteers in the station's childcare center during her breaks. Zara became attached. Vexthul's claws were flexing unconsciously, a Valkon stress response. But this is impossible. Valkons don't form bonds this intense outside immediate family for years. Our cubs are naturally independent, calculating. They don't... He gestured helplessly at the screens, now showing a countdown timer. They don't do this. Emma returns in 5 hours, 47 minutes, 23 seconds, Zara announced. But that's too long. She needs to come now. She created a countdown timer? One of the senior tech specialists had gone completely still. Sir, that requires understanding temporal mathematics and systems integration protocols. Most adults can't do that. Update. Emma's shuttle is designated 7 Alpha. Zara's voice cut through their conversation. Current trajectory, Sector 7, Zone 3. Distance from station, 47,000 kilometers. Speed, standard civilian velocity. increasing distance by 340 kilometers per minute. Every console in the command center started displaying a real-time tracking map of Shuttle 7 Alpha's position, trajectory, and estimated arrival time. She just hacked our military tracking systems, Arhill said faintly. Those require 3 separate authorization codes from different species security chiefs. Playing Emma's favorite teaching stories for comfort while waiting, Zara announced. And suddenly Emma's voice was reading The 3 Little Pigs to the entire galaxy, her tone warm and animated, with occasional sound effects that made the story come alive. She's archived? Vexthul looked like someone had physically struck him. Zara has been recording and storing Emma's voice? Not just storing, Lirana said, her voice climbing an octave. She's created a complete database. Look, Emma's teaching methods, her schedule, her communication patterns, even her favorite jokes categorized by topic. This is professional-grade documentation that would take research teams months to compile. The broadcast shifted again. Now it showed Emma's last known coordinates, her shuttle's manifest, and what appeared to be a detailed risk assessment of her current journey. Emma's shuttle environmental systems, optimal. Life support, functioning. Navigation, accurate. She is safe. But she is leaving. This is unacceptable. Your 3-year-old daughter just became the galaxy's most sophisticated intelligence analyst, Kel'Thas said numbly. While crying, Arhill added, because Zara's voice was still hitching with sobs between technical announcements. Bring her back. She promised tomorrow. Tomorrow is not now. Now is when I need her. Shuttle 7 Alpha, this is Station Command. You are ordered to return immediately. Priority Alpha 1. There was a pause on the comm channel. Then Emma Johnson's distinctly confused voice crackled through. Command? This is 7 Alpha. Did I forget to clock out again? Because I'm pretty sure I submitted my... Ms. Johnson, we have a situation. Your presence is required back on station immediately. Is someone hurt? Did the cleaning bots malfunction? Oh God, did someone finally slip on a wet floor despite my 17 signs? Kel'Thas rubbed his temples, very aware that this conversation was probably being broadcast to the entire galaxy along with everything else. Ms. Johnson, are you aware that you have a personal relationship with Ambassador Vexthul's daughter? Zara. Yeah, she's a sweetheart. Comes to the child care center during my lunch breaks. Why? She's currently holding the entire galactic communications network hostage, demanding your immediate return. The silence stretched for exactly 4.7 seconds. Kel'Thas knew because Zara's countdown timer was still displaying on every screen. Oh, Emma said finally. Oh, Zara's having a tantrum? Yeah, she gets like that when she's worried. Did you try explaining that I'll be back tomorrow? She's still working on the whole-time concept thing. Vexthul stepped forward, his voice strained. Ms. Johnson, Valcon cubs don't understand temporal abstractions until age 6 at minimum. You cannot reason with... Sure you can. Just explain it's one sleep away. Zara, honey, can you hear me? The sobbing on the broadcast stopped abruptly. Emma? Hey, kiddo. I hear you're making a big fuss up there. You left. You said tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. It's always today, and you're not here. Emma's laugh was warm and completely unbothered by the fact that trillions were listening. Sweetie, remember what we practiced with the counting game? How many sleeps until Emma comes back? 1 sleep. Zara's voice was small, uncertain. But what if you don't come back after 1 sleep? What if tomorrow breaks? Tomorrow doesn't break, honey. It always comes. Just like I always come back. Remember last week when I had a day off? You came back. And the week before when I had to leave early for that doctor thing? You came back, Zara repeated, slightly stronger. And I'll come back this time too. One sleep, can you count to one for me? Was one. See, you're already almost there. Liarana was staring at her console like it had personally betrayed her. Commander, the station AI is flagging something. It's been analyzing Zara's cognitive patterns during this conversation. And, according to its assessment, Zara is demonstrating understanding of temporal sequences, abstract reasoning, and hypothetical future events. These are cognitive abilities that shouldn't manifest in Valkon cubs for another 3 years minimum. Vexthul had gone completely still, the Valkon version of shock. That's impossible. Our development stages are genetically hardwired. Cubs can't bypass. Emma, how long have you been teaching my daughter temporal concepts? Teaching? I mean, we just play games. Count the minutes until snack time, talk about yesterday and tomorrow. Make little schedules for her toys. She picked it up really fast, actually. I figured she was just a bright kid. Valkon cubs don't pick up abstract temporal reasoning, Vexthul said, his voice hollow. It requires specific neurological development that doesn't occur until the 6th year cycle. Huh. Well, Zara's been doing it for like 3 weeks now. She even made herself a little calendar last week out of cleaning supplies, colored it and everything. It was adorable. Raheel pulled up his datapad, then slowly lowered it. The countdown timer, the trajectory calculations, the database organization. She learned all of this from playing games, Emma finished cheerfully. Yeah, she's really good at patterns. I taught her basic programming last week using the cleaning bot interface. She wanted to make them dance. You taught a 3-year-old cub programming? I mean, basic stuff. If-then statements, simple loops. She thought it was hilarious when we made the bot spell her name. The station AI chimed in, its synthetic voice somehow managing to sound disturbed. Analysis confirms. Human pedagogical approach assumes competency and teaches concepts without age restrictions. Subject Zara has been exposed to cognitive frameworks typically reserved for adolescent development. Her neurological pathways have adapted accordingly. Current cognitive function, 4.7 years ahead of species baseline. You accidentally advanced Valkon evolutionary development by years, Kael'thas said faintly. By playing games. And reading stories, Zara added helpfully, her voice no longer crying. Emma reads the best stories. She does all the voices, and she taught me how to save them so I can hear them when she's not there. But I want her here. One sleep, remember? Emma's voice was gentle. Can you be brave for one sleep? Will you come right back, first thing after one sleep? First thing, I promise. And Zara? Maybe let the nice station commander have his communication system back? I bet he's got important work to do. There was a pause. But what if I need to talk to you during the one sleep? Then you use the personal comm channel I set up for you, not the galaxy-wide emergency system. Remember? The one that's just for us? Oh, right. I forgot about that one. You hijacked galactic communications, Vexthul said slowly. Because you forgot about the direct line Emma gave you? Maybe. Kael'thas watched as, one by one, his systems began returning to normal function. Life support controls, restored. Navigation, restored. Communications, restored. Zara was systematically returning everything she'd taken, as casually as a child putting away toys. How did you give her a direct comm line? Arhill asked weakly. Oh, I just reprogrammed one of the old maintenance channels. Nobody uses channel 247 anymore, so I figured. You reprogrammed a maintenance channel? It was easy. Just took like 10 minutes. Anyway, Zara, sweetie, I'm turning the shuttle around now. I'll be back before you know it, and we can finish that story about the dragon, okay? The one where the dragon learns to share? That's the one. Now, be good and go find your dad. I bet he's pretty worried. Okay, Emma, one sleep. I can count to 1. A pause. I love you. Emma's voice softened in a way that made Kael'thas's throat tight. Love you too, kiddo. See you soon. The broadcast finally, mercifully, ended. In the silence that followed, Vexthul spoke in the tone of someone whose entire worldview had just been dismantled. She taught my daughter to love. In 1 month. That should take years. Yeah, Kael'thas said, watching Shuttle 7 Alpha's trajectory reverse on his now functional tracking screen. Humans tend to do that. Shuttle 7 Alpha docked 47 minutes later. Emma had apparently decided immediately meant pushing the engines to their maximum safe speed. Kael'thas, Vexthul, and half the security team were waiting at the airlock. They needn't have bothered with the escort. The moment Emma's boots hit the deck plating, the station's speakers crackled to life one final time. She came back. Emma came back. She always comes back. Then, systematically, every hijacked system restored itself to full functionality. It was like watching a master technician's work in reverse, each protocol clicking back into place with perfect precision. Well, Liarana said faintly, at least she's consistent. Emma was already jogging toward the communications center, her duffel bag abandoned in the corridor. Zara, honey, where are you? The reinforced door, which had resisted every override attempt for the past hour, slid open immediately. What happened next would be analyzed by xenopsychologists for the next decade. Zara, 3 years old, barely reaching Emma's hip, a member of a species whose cubs were supposed to be calculating and emotionally reserved, launched herself across the room with a sound that was half sob, half roar. She collided with Emma hard enough that a human without warning would have been knocked flat. Emma just laughed, catching the cub and spinning her around. Hey, kiddo. I told you I'd see you tomorrow. You gotta trust the grown-ups, okay? You came back early, Zara said. Her claws retracted, Kael'thas noted with relief, clutching Emma's uniform. You weren't supposed to be back for 5 hours and 17 minutes. Well, someone told me there was an emergency. Emma set Zara down, but kept hold of her hand. Want to tell me what happened? I got scared, Zara admitted, her voice small. Tomorrow felt too far away. So I made a plan to bring you back. By hijacking the entire galactic communications network? You said if I need help, I should tell everyone loudly. Zara's tail was swishing with what Vexthul recognized as anxiety. Did I do it wrong? Emma crouched down to Zara's eye level. Honey, when I said tell everyone, I meant tell the adults around you. Like your dad or Commander Kael'thas. Not literally everyone in the galaxy. But they weren't listening. They said cubs can't understand time and I should just wait. Zara's eyes, large and luminous, looked up at Emma with complete trust. But you taught me time. You taught me counting. You taught me that tomorrow always comes. So I showed them. You certainly did, Vexthul said, stepping into the room. His voice was gentle in a way Kael'thas had never heard from the usually formal ambassador. Zara, what you did was extraordinary, but also dangerous. I was careful, Zara protested. I didn't break anything, Look, I even made improvements." She pulled Emma toward the main console, chattering excitedly. "See? The old system had redundant pathways that slowed response time by 0.47 seconds. I streamlined them. And the encryption layers? They were overlapping inefficiently. I reorganized them by priority level. And I found 3 backdoor vulnerabilities that someone left from the old security system, so I patched those. Oh, and I upgraded the bandwidth capacity by routing through unused maintenance channels. Emma, you were right. Nobody uses channel 247. Emma's expression was somewhere between pride and horror. Wow, honey, that's really impressive. But maybe don't hack galactic communications without asking first. But I needed you back. I know, but you scared a lot of people. Commander Kael'thas, Ambassador Vexthul, they were worried about you. Zara looked at her father, then at the commander, her ears drooping. I'm sorry. I just wanted Emma. She makes everything make sense. Kael'thas found himself kneeling down beside Emma. Zara, can I ask you something? How did you learn to do all of this? The programming, the system integration, the temporal mathematics. Emma taught me, Zara said simply. She said I was smart enough to learn anything if someone explained it right. She said being little doesn't mean being stupid. And you believed her? Emma doesn't lie. She said I could do it, so I could. Vexthul's voice was rough. We tell our cubs to wait, to be patient, that they'll understand when they're older. And we wonder why they don't try, Emma said softly, standing. Zara's not less capable because she's 3. She just needs someone to show her how things work. You taught her emergency protocols. Kael'thas said, understanding clicking into place. Not simplified versions, actual protocols. Well, yeah. What if there's a real emergency and she needs to help? Better she knows what to do than just be scared and helpless. You assume competence? Litrana said from the doorway, her datapad clutched tight. Human child-rearing philosophy. You assume children are competent and teach them everything, regardless of age. Sure, they usually live up to it. Emma ruffled Zara's headcrest affectionately. Or in this case, exceed it by hijacking galactic communications. I said I was sorry, Zara mumbled. I know, sweetie. How about we make a deal? Next time you're scared, you use our special channel first. Give the adults a chance to help before you take over the galaxy's infrastructure. Sound fair? Okay. But you promise you'll always come back? I promise, even if I have to hijack a shuttle to do it. Emma winked at Kael'thas. Pretty sure I broke some speed limits getting here. We'll overlook it this time, Kael'thas said dryly. Consider it compensation for accidentally revolutionizing Valkon childhood development. I did what now? Vexthul's laugh was shaky but genuine. Miss Johnson, you've done in 1 month what our species' evolutionary timeline said would take years. You taught my daughter to think beyond her developmental stage simply by believing she could. Huh? Emma looked down at Zara, who was now showing her something on a datapad. Improvements to the cafeteria's food ordering system, from what Kael'thas could glimpse. Well, she's a good kid. Smart kid. Just needed someone to notice. The Emergency Galactic Council session convened 6 hours later. Not to discuss the security breach, but to discuss Emma Johnson. 17 species have formally requested documentation of human childcare methodologies. Council lead Jitaro announced, his voice carefully neutral. The Valkon Collective has submitted a proposal to study human educational approaches. And the Senthari Science Academy is offering Miss Johnson a research position. Kael'thas watched through the observation window as Emma mopped the corridor outside the council chambers, now accompanied by 3 alien cubs, including Zara, who were helping by pushing smaller cleaning bots around while arguing about optimal floor coverage patterns. She turned down all the offers, Vexathul said quietly beside him. The ambassador had officially hired Emma as Zara's cultural development consultant at triple her janitor's salary. Emma had accepted only after confirming she could still clean floors. She said, and I quote, "I'm literally a janitor. I just treated her like a smart kid." That just revolutionized our understanding of cognitive development across species. Kyle Thas replied, pulling up the new station regulations on his datapad. Section 47B, added this morning. Human child-rearing methods may significantly accelerate developmental timelines. All childcare facilities must account for competency-based learning when humans are involved in education. "Look," Lirana said, pointing down the corridor. Zara was showing 2 Centauri cubs her countdown timer system, explaining temporal mathematics with the casual confidence of someone who learned it while playing games. The other cubs were fascinated, their head tendrils bright with interest. "She's teaching them," Vexthul observed, passing on what Emma taught her. That's how it works, apparently. Kyle Thas pulled up another report, this one from station security. Rahil wants to implement new protocols for human-accessible zones. Says we need different security assumptions when humans can apparently teach cubs to bypass our systems in their spare time. Emma's laugh echoed down the corridor as one of the cubs accidentally programmed a cleaning bot to spin in circles. Okay, let's fix that. See this line here? You gotta tell it when to stop spinning, not just that it should stop eventually." "She's teaching them programming," Kael'thas said faintly, while mopping. "She says if they're going to hack the station anyway, might as well teach them to do it right." Vexthul's tone was somewhere between exasperation and admiration. "She's already started them on basic ethical frameworks. Don't hack things without permission is apparently lesson 1. Your daughter just revolutionized galactic education," Kael'thas observed. "Emma revolutionized it," Vexthul corrected. "Zara just proved it was possible. There's a difference." Down in the corridor, Zara had stopped playing to hug Emma's leg. "Thank you for coming back." "Always, kiddo. That's what grown-ups do. We keep our promises." "Even when cubs make galaxy-wide mistakes?" "Especially then. That's when you need us most." Emma resumed mopping, the cubs trailing after her like ducklings. "Now, who wants to learn about conditional loops? They're super useful for teaching bots to avoid wet floors." Kael'thas closed the regulation document and pulled up the station's childcare center schedule. Emma's volunteer hours had just been expanded to include formal teaching time, with a waiting list of 47 cubs from 12 species. "She still thinks she's just a janitor," he said. "Let her," Vexthul replied, watching his daughter explain database architecture to a Centauri cub while Emma worked. "She's right in a way. She just cleans floors and tells stories and treats cubs like they're competent. It's the rest of us who made it complicated by assuming children couldn't learn." "Human assumption of competence," Lirana murmured. "It's so simple, it's revolutionary." "That's humans for you," Kael'thas said, watching Emma teach 3 alien cubs the fundamentals of system security while scrubbing a particularly stubborn stain. They just see potential and believe in it. Then they act surprised when it changes everything. Zara's laugh, bright and unburdened, rang through the corridor as her countdown timer dinged. "Emma time! Story time! You promised." "I did promise, didn't I?" "Okay, cleaning break. Who wants to hear about the dragon who learned to program?" The cubs cheered, clustering around Emma as she set her mop aside and pulled out a datapad filled with stories she'd written herself. Kael'thas made a note in his log. Day 73. Human janitor continues accidental reformation of galactic education. Station operations, normal. Developmental psychology, revolutionized. Cubs, happy. Recommend increasing Emma Johnson's security clearance. She'll probably need it when they start hacking advanced systems next week. Vexthul read over his shoulder and laughed. Next week? Commander, you're optimistic. I give it 3 days. Fair point, Kael'thas conceded, watching Emma and Zara settle in for story time, surrounded by eager cubs from across the galaxy. Fair point. Tomorrow, he'd deal with the diplomatic requests, the research proposals, and the 17 species wanting to implement human-style education protocols. Today, he'd just watch a janitor read stories to cubs who'd learned they were capable of anything because someone believed in them enough to teach them how. Sometimes, revolution looked like a mop, a countdown timer, and a human who just treated everyone like they mattered.